We want to introduce you to the 2023 and the 2324 models, and we're going to go over briefly some of the key points of the upgrades that have been put on these machines. As we look at the very front of the machine, we see not only is there a back panel that's much larger when you're going to work on the something in the burner room, but there's a nice new entry door with a couple of thumb screws on the front side of the 8s, 15s, and 25s, so you can easily access inside the burner room, which is great for cleaning and also for other types of maintenance that might be needed. So that's a nice little feature that you can use right from the start. Another added feature is, if you can see this, is a magnetic belt or back panel that you can open up to access the back bearing for maintenance, such as greasing the bearing, or if you need to do an adjustment of some sort. Also on each of these is the new handle. So if for some reason your power were to go out in your building and you need to get the beans out of the drum quickly so they don't burn, you can easily use this handle to manually turn the drum and exit the beans. And then also another feature that's been added for the 2023, 2024 models is the hot air volume control. You may think, well, wait a minute, those used to be on the small BC, and they still are on the small BC1, BC2, and they used to be on the 3.5 and 5. But this is completely different because, as you may have noticed, on those models, it was simply a governor that tried to slow down or increase the fan speed. These actually use a 3-phase chaff fan, and then you've got a converter inside the machine that brings it back down to one single phase, and so now you've got really great control over the airflow. Very small amount of the airflow, and as you increase it, you can increase it, and you can see that it increases by each step, whereas the old governors didn't do a very good job at that. You basically had a low, high, medium, and high speed. And you can use this instead of the manual dial damper, and if you did that, you would leave the manual dial damper on 10, and then you would exclusively use the electronic speed control, or you can just turn this up to 100 and now control it through the manual dial damper, which is what we've done for several years. That's your choice. And of course, in the art of roasting, you may modify it to where you use a certain percentage, depending on your roast, maybe 80%, and then control the rest through your manual dial damper. That's your choice, but it gives you more control over the artistry of the roast. And just since I didn't have it zoomed out, here's your manual dial damper, which you've had for several years. And if you wanted to use that exclusively, you would just turn up your airflow volume control, and then you would now continue to use like you used in the past. And this would work in conjunction with the Magnehelic airflow gauge, or we call it the MAG airflow gauge, which I don't have displayed on this model, but it installs right here and comes with every one at no extra cost. And so that gives you a lot more versatility in your airflow control. There's still more. The 2023-24 models, we've BC8, well actually from the 3.5 all the way to the 25, we've upgraded to a new type bearing system. And the reason for that is, in the past, if you ever had your drum get out of alignment, you would have to loosen the 2 set screws on the bearing that was on the front, push the drum out while it was off, obviously, and then maybe put a 2.5 millimeter hex key between the drum and the front panel, and then you would pull that back in and then tighten down those set screws. The beauty of the new type is that you can adjust these set screws that are right here and now turn the knob either clockwise or counterclockwise, even when you're roasting. Of course, when the roaster's hot, you want to use a glove. If the drum begins to come out of alignment, and you can just manually turn it if there was a rubbing that started, or if you noticed it was pulled a little too far away, and manually adjust it and then tighten down your set screws, and you'd be all set. And it only takes a